everything saying, "Hey, come show up."
Right.
Oh, this is your last chance to get you a cup of water or something.
I've got a Dr. Pepper right here.
Like,
It's not gonna let me. I'll just upload the video too. Can't. I'm having trouble doing the stream over tomorrow. Right.
yeah, go ahead and put it on your Instagrams and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty.
Do you have the stream up on yours?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Fireside Chat. Today we have Sid.
Yo!
He is the creator of two Webtoon series, Champion Zero and Ashes of Eden. And today we're discussing his very first chapter on Champion Zero, his newest series. What can you tell us about it?
Well, it is heavily D&D based. Although very much more of a homebrew type situation.
Yeah, as most good campaigns are.
Right.
Alright, so what can we expect, from chapter 1 and possibly going on without too many spoilers?
Well, just without spoiling it. A tough thing.
I mean, we will be going over chapter 1, but, just a general what's going on.
Basically a massive quest to, for one of the characters to gain some strength, or gain their strength back.
I mean, that's that's pretty much it at the moment.
Yep.
So, I'm actually going to pull the series up right about now. Yeah, there's no fancy transitions and stuff, but there it is.
Yep, that's it.
Alright, so this is on Webtoons. You can look it up by either typing in Champion Zero or typing in Sid's username, Crit Kit. Like Critical Kitsune, except short.
Exactly.
Alright, right off the bat, we have the name Champion Zero with some kanji right up front. Now, the direct translation of this kanji right here is actually champion from zero, meaning the champion is starting from zero instead of, the other way, which would say no champions.
Because kanji is hard.
But it's very nice to look at.
Oh yeah, so pleasant.
And right off the bat, what made you go with the cracked green for the title page?
Honestly, just aesthetics. It look cool.
I can agree. It does look pretty cool. Alright, gonna go ahead and go to first chapter. Alright, so right here we have a couple of characters, a chest, and what looks like an ocean. With, I'm assuming that's storm clouds in the distance.
Be correct.
Yeah, it's a in detail analysis, so it's gonna get really weird and boring sometimes. Alright, so we have a drow character, a dark elf, in the second and third panel, and a tail.
Nice and fluffy.
Nice and fluffy, yes. Which the characters are Swayrin, who's level 4, and Esme, who's level 3. Esme is actually a demi-human, a kitsune.
Correct.
Which is, a nice tie-in to your username.
Right. Pretty much how I got the idea for it, honestly. As well as, my fascination with foxes and Japanese culture.
So, tell me a little bit about the character designs at the moment.
Well, I was going for something rogue-like, but not too heavy, because, their levels, they're not going to have, great armor or anything like that yet. Wanted to add a little bit of mystique to them, therefore the mass.
Yeah.
And something that'll be dove into a little later is the yellowish cloth around Esme's waist. It's actually going to be really important.
Interesting.
Little tie to her backstory.
Nice. Alright, here we have Swayren hopping across rocks. And
Doing her nature skills.
now, what's this? It says Foxfire. What's this little being right here? Is this like just a spell, or what's going on here?
Sort of a spell, yeah. Esme can basically create this little fox form that you see in the bottom left panel to do more like scouting or, well, really just scouting.
So it's more.
It can't really do any physical attacks.
So it's more of a recon spell.
Pretty much.
Alrighty.
But she can also use it as a transportation thing. Like, she sends it out and then it can...
Swap places with her?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. So essentially it's a body double.
Right.
Alright. And we can see it has a solid form because Swayren's able to jump off of the little body double.
Right.
Squeak, squeak.
Yep.
Alrighty. I'm going to say alrighty a lot because that's my go-to. Yeah. Okay, so going up the cliff, they land on the thing. There's a chest.
Yep, shiny.
Now, one part I didn't go over is actually at the very beginning, because for some reason I skipped all of it.
Yep.
Alright, here's the actual title page. Here's a cute little chibi version of all the characters. We'll meet her soon. Okay, so the unique thing about this world is you can die twice. The first time you drop what's essentially is your soul, which is the accumulation of all your experience and your items. And if you die the second time, it winds up being a permanent death.
Yep, you dead.
So if you regain your soul, you could die again. Now, however, it says that the souls are sought after by dark forgers who use black magic to bond the energies with specially crafted armor and weapons.
Yep. One can't take a soul from someone else and give it to themselves, but they can fuse it into weapons or items and create magical stuff.
Alrighty. Now, is this like when they first drop the soul, or is this after the permadeath?
This is after the permadeath.
So,
Before the permadeath, the souls are locked basically wherever they dropped to be grabbed again by the one who dropped them.
so no one could essentially just take a soul before someone was able to retrieve it.
Right.
Alrighty. Now this is delving a little into the backstory of it. It's saying that there was once a champion who was able to get further than anyone else and wound up dying by the Lich Queen. That's such a weird... Lich, yeah. I was about to say, that is such a weird way to say lich. Well, yeah. So, the champion was slain by their own sword.
Big oof.
Which, now here is the initial start. So this is the prologue right here, which is a small bit of world building. Then your title sequence. Alright, now time to go back to where we were. Alright, so this chest is actually a soul. Basically the locked version of the soul.
Right. And just, again, aesthetics, thought it would fit the world if the souls took the form of a chest.
Which would, make sense why there's so, in D&D and many RPGs, why there's always abundance of chests just laying around.
Right.
Nice little headcanon there. Alrighty. And so the fox is shaking. Is it getting like a sense of something? Or I know that Esme can see the tentacles coming up.
It's not more of a sense of something, although it can do that. It's more of just fright.
Fright, shouting.
Yeah.
Alright. And a kraken. Level 6 kraken, to be exact. Normally, this would just ruin any adventure. Go and watch the show. Alrighty.
It's a pretty dangerous beast to come across.
Oh yeah, especially, just by yourself or one party member.
Oh yeah.
Okay, full transformation. And she turns the little ball of fuzz to a fox. Or a kitsune.
Yep. That form allows her to attack from a distance.
Okay. So, it's kind of like a conjure familiar.
Exactly.
Here she is realizing her mistake, saying, yeah, that I didn't think a fire skill would work against a water-based monster.
Gotta try everything, though. You're backed into a corner like that.
Oh, yeah. Although, to be fair, there's claws right there.
Yeah.
A scratching attack probably would have been a lot better for her.
But tiny claws or big blast of fire.
Again, it's a water monster.
Yeah, but those claws aren't going to do anything against the hide of that beast.
But here comes Swayer to save the day and use a
Yep.
blade to cut off tentacles.
Much sharper than claws.
I mean, there's not much to say about the couple panels. These are just...
action scenes.
Here she is, calling because she got hit. Fell into the water.
Drama.
Now, these hand signs... Is this going to be implemented throughout the whole series, or just a specialty to her?
More so from her type of people, like the Fox clans and all that, because they're more. Well, even though Swearin is pretty much a ninja, Esme kind of is too,
Okay.
but she's more magic based than sneaky sneak.
So more like an arcane trickster than rogue.
Yeah.
Alright, now this fox has taken ethereal form, just flying about.
Yep.
There she goes again with another fire attack.
Well, yeah, she's all about the fire. At least for now. Wink, wink.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Alrighty.
But of course, fire does nothing.
Yeah, you would think after the first time.
Well, except take it off really bad. However,
Swarin flies up in the air and using a lightning attack. Much better. Much better against a water type monster.
it's super effective.
Now this looks like it's the equivalent of rolling a natural 20 on an attack.
Oh yeah, that was a straight up 20. While
Now-
Esme's sitting over here rolling ones.
Now, the actual question is, how do you determine how effective these attacks are?
Yeah, I mean, intuition.
Intuition, just how you think the story's going to progress?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they were fighting a kraken, in the water. So lightning attacks will be your best bet.
Oh, yeah. Alright. They get the chest. Then they go to an undisclosed location, which looks to be some ruins. And there's their boss, Zelgus.
Intimidating emo boy.
Intimidating emo boy.
Yep.
Alright, so how did you come up with the organization name Cerberus Link?
I wish I could remember to tell you.
Well, with Cerberus, the thoughts behind that is, one is the Hound Dog of Hell, responsible for keeping the dead spirits in the afterlife and keeping the living out.
Right.
So they can't just, walk in, take a soul, and then walk out.
So I guess porting souls is kind of what they do.
Along with, Cerberus being a three-headed dog.
Right. That'll be some important symbolism later on.
Alrighty. So, seeing here, it looks like they are actually quote-unquote slaves to Cerberus Link.
Yep. They have been, slight spoilers, but it's fine. They have been bound since a very young age by this organization.
Alrighty. Magical chains appear. Yeah, they are nothing but property. Alright, she's taken off her mask. So they've been employed for 10 long years.
I mean, to swear, that's not very long, but...
True, being a drow, she could be a lot older than what she looks.
Even still, they're both pretty young compared.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the equivalent of, like, early 20s, late teens, something like that.
Okay. So, okay, she's pulling off the mask here, which is disintegrating.
Right.
And then the mask is here in the chest. So, did she use a magic spell to put one on?
Yep. Well, it was a bit of a switcheroo. Before they returned the chest to Zelgus, she swapped out the soul for the mask and did a bit of an illusion that he couldn't see through.
Okay. So, yeah.
So all he got was a mask, and with the power of the extra soul that they got, they were able to use its magic to be free.
And obviously that made him mad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if they want to be relieved so badly, I shall grant it to them in death. That's very cultish saying right there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the shattered chain that kept them in Cerberus.
Yep. no more.
It says to be continued, and then we get a little epilogue here. And there's the third character that's right at the beginning.
Who could she be? So mysterious.
Alrighty, and that is the end of this.
Yep, and that is chapter 1.
So what are your thoughts about the series so far? I mean, just, we read through chapter 1. Now that you're, seeing it and talking about it, how do you feel about it?
Honestly, very proud of it. I feel the flow was really well. Of course, you didn't get to see a whole lot of the characters' personalities.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you could do with just one chapter. Unless if you made it absurdly long.
Right. And I didn't want to overload with everything. I wanted to kind of show off what they could do a little bit and let their personalities come out naturally instead of forcefully.
Yeah, that's very understandable. You don't want it to move too fast because then everyone's feels like it's being rushed and they can't get into it. There's too much information at once.
I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
Right, so I think the flow of this story will go.
I'm doing something
really
important,
smoothly.
okay?
I want to be her. No, you're my daddy.
Anyway, sorry about that.
Oh, good.
Alrighty, so you're very proud of it. My brain went blank there for a second. I got thrown out of my loop.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. So now, I'm going to throw in a little bit of the other series now. How do you feel about this series compared to the other one?
Compared to
Ashes of Eden. Yeah.
Ashes of Eden is... I'm trying to find the right words. It's a great story. I've had a lot of fun writing it.
Oh yeah, I mean...
but there is so much more to it. It's not just based on one world. It is a universe, potentially multiverse.
I mean, a little history on Ashes of Eden. Ashes of Eden was rebooted probably 7 times.
Right.
Each one in a stretch to get more and more original from where it began.
It started out as a Dragon Ball fan story back on Amino in, 2016, 2017?
I could not tell you when it started. I knew I was there for it, but I could not tell you when it started.
Well, Ashes of Eden is a lot more of a community-based story with our Discord group. Champion Zero is still a community story. I still get a lot of input from my friends on there. But it is a lot more narrow in scope. They're not out there fighting gods as of yet.
Yeah, fighting gods is a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. Only slightly.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, if anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask them.
Yeah, ask away. Even if you don't ask now, if you have questions on the story later, just hit me up with one of my links. I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, and all of his links are actually above his avatar right now.
Yep.
And feel free to do a shameless plug of your art and profiles.
I mean, I think you've seen enough of my art.
Well,
it's kind of the whole first chapter there. Get a little color, little detail, a little black and white, a little everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, Champion Zero and Ashes of Eden are not your only things.
Oh no,
Like,
no, I've got plenty of stuff, and I do a lot of commission work. Commissions are always open.
yep, in fact, this avatar that I'm using was made by you.
Yep.
Which has honestly made streaming so much easier for me because I don't have to worry about a camera, I don't have to worry about my background, I don't have to worry about if I look awful one day and great the next.
The best place to find my art would be Twitter.
So,
I post just about everything I draw on there. So, and
at Critical Kitsune
yep,
on Twitter.
and that's the same for Twitch, of course. I don't stream all that much, but I do try to stream some, just mostly drawing. I may talk about the story or the piece I'm working on or whatever if I actually can figure out what to talk about. Kind of terrible at this kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. It takes a lot to be able to just, one, to talk to yourself, two, to try to make it engaging for others to watch, to listen to.
Right. And of course, jump in Discord. We're always accepting new members.
Yeah, and you can always either add me or add Sid over here, and we can shoot you an invite to the Discord.
And you can be a part of the process of making these stories come to life.
Now, with that being said, you also have a YouTube channel where you've done some music, some drawing live streams.
A few extras other than what I've recorded from Twitch, I do post on YouTube. And using the GarageBand app on iOS, I've made a few tunes. Nothing spectacular, really, but I have no musical talent other than pressing some buttons on a keyboard.
Hey, sometimes the best songs come from that.
I mean, they made a whole genre like that. Dubstep.
I was not about to throw shade.
I'll throw shade. I love dubstep.
Dubstep's good. Dubstep's good. And then there is Ylvis dubstep.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well,
I'm pretty much on every platform you can imagine. And if you want some merch, I do have a TeePublic store.
yeah, I would pull it up, but in interest of not violating Twitch guidelines.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Sid does a lot of great art, and he's not afraid to enter the more risque genres.
Nope. Basically anything that you would want.
Anything
I'm
legal.
not really good at drawing mecha stuff, but I will give it my try.
Now, while we're waiting on people to, ask questions and so forth, what got you into wanting to make your own manga?
Well, I've been a fan of anime and manga since I can remember. Starting back in the days of early Toonami
My toys did
and
fell off
Dragon
my
Ball Z
toy.
and Yu Yu Hakusho.
It's fine, Lily.
I'm old.
You're not that old.
But my dad would also doodle for me. He drew some characters, not really all that well. He's never really an artist, but he kind of got my interest piqued. So I started drawing more and more, and we came up with these little characters, which pretty much were just simple shapes that I started making into a semi-early comic. And then while doing all that, my cousin and I would play with our figures and whatnot and come up with our own story. Eventually, I was like, hey, what if I put this on paper?
As one would do.
Yeah. And I still haven't actually got to use a lot of that stuff that we came up with, which I want to, of course, revised. But, yeah, that's kind of what sparked everything. And eventually in high school, I met another friend of mine. You can find him on Twitch, the Hobo Legend. Little plug there for him. And together we came up with quite a lot of stories, which have pretty much all melded into one by this point, which is Ashes of Eden. Champion Zero is basically the freshest thing that I've come up with, of course with help, with Fire Eye and others.
Now, I haven't done too much. I just throw ideas at a wall and see what sticks.
You created Swayrin, a main character.
Yes, that's true.
You have done a lot. Do not shortchange yourself.
Alright, so if everything went according to plan, and where do you see the series going? Like, not in a plot standpoint, like in the real world.
If everything went according to plan, I would love to see an anime of the series. If nothing else, just a movie.
I mean, from what we got here, we got a good, 5-10 minutes of a movie.
Exactly. Dude, you just do a couple movies that cover all the plot material.
I mean, that honestly sounds awesome.
Right?
Just to see something that you worked on, that you put all this time in to flourish, and then see people recognize it.
That's the dream. So, if you want to support that dream, go buy some merch or jump on over to Patreon.
And share the series. Get your friends to read it.
That is huge if you can do that for me.
I'm just scrolling down here. And the way it's... where is it? It's probably back one.
What are you looking for?
The view count on it. 18 views on chapter 1.
And day 1 too.
Yeah, day 1. This released at what? 12 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere close to there. Yeah, 18 views, including my one to, read it out to y'all.
So yeah, go over there and click those shares, spread the word around. If somebody needs a new series to read, and they like D&D and action or shonen series rather, then yeah, Champion Zero is a good read, I would say.
Alright, and how often are you updating Champion Zero?
Champion Zero and AoE both will be every other week. So, Champion Zero released today. Next Friday on the 14th will be an Ashes of Eden chapter. And on the 21st will be the second Champion Zero chapter. And following that pattern until I change it again.
Again. Anyways. Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, the artwork is actually very well done. The proportions are correctly other than the chibis, but chibis are known for their weird proportions.
Right. Big heads, little bodies.
But stances are great. The little bit of battles, they seem pretty well put together. Although, a little side note, I'm just now noticing. The champion strikes from left to right, while the blood splatters up down. Well, down to up.
Yeah, well, slight issue, but
But yeah, that's just nitpicking. But yeah, I mean, characters look great. You could kind of see what their attitudes are from the series. And you'll see a lot more of it in Chapter 2, Chapter 3, as it goes on.
hey, the wife's home.
Puppers!
Alright, so I think we need to cut it for now.
Alrighty. Well,
Uh,
I've honestly enjoyed having you on here. And if y'all can get the chance, go give Sid some follows, share his stuff, try to get his dream out there.
yeah. Support me. Get yourself some merch or commissions or whatever, you know.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna leave it here. Bye.
And just remember, sword or pen, we conquer.
Nice slogan. Alright, talk to y'all later. Bye.
Peace.